In spite of the many challenges of the sector, agricultural commercialization is viewed favorably because it is seen as capable of providing solutions to the problems of poverty and food insecurity. However, commercialization is a very complex process, and its outcomes depend on existing conditions as well as how well a farmer can meet the demands that it imposes. These conditions include access to land in terms of access, control over labor, costs of labor and wages, technologies, credit, and other factors of production. Also important are the nature of household production systems and the burden of unpaid care work.
Access to land is a particularly challenging issue for women, in spite of the fact that many of them are involved in food production. You will find that women have fewer tracts of land. The size of land they have tends to be smaller than the size of land that men have for farming. You also find that in terms of labor arrangements, the social norms privilege the needs that men have, because the farms that men farm are considered to be family farms, whilst women's farms are considered to be their own business. Secondly, women have less money to buy the important inputs that they need, like labor, like agrochemicals and so on. And then therefore that tends to affect their harvest. You also find that although women are very active in the distribution of food, and this is an important source of income for them, they do not get much support for the work that they do in food distribution, and much of it is self-generated, and it relies on them borrowing capital, which comes at a very high cost to go and buy food and so on. So the earnings that should help their families do not materialize.
Commercialization has resulted in land shortages in many farming communities in Ghana. The severity of this problem varies from one district to another and always has important gender dimensions.
One development which affects agriculture, and which is one of the triggers for our study on commercial agriculture, is the recent spate of large-scale land acquisitions which affected Ghana. This is actually a global issue, and it was brought on by the recent food, energy, and financial crisis across the globe. It was observed that as a result of this food, energy, and financial crisis, there was a spate of large-scale land acquisitions across the globe, particularly in Africa and other areas of the global south. And this led to concerns about a development that we've experienced in Ghana over a long period of time, which is the increasing dispossession of small-scale farmers, but also processes of land concentration, whereby people have very large tracts of land that they do not actually use but have acquired, and also the increasing fragmentation of smallholder plots. So many people who want to now start farming cannot find fresh land on which to farm, because those lands are not available, and yet there are large tracts of land which are owned privately and therefore have been enclosed and so are not free to be used for farming. So that's a particularly negative development in the agricultural sector. And one of the results of this has been to create a lot of tenure insecurity, but also high prices of rented land, and also the entrenchment of tenancy arrangements that do not favor farmers, because farmers are having to pay as much as a third of their harvest as rent. And in terms of tenure insecurities, in parts of northern Ghana, particularly in an area like Garutimpani, where land is very scarce, we found out that tenure insecurity is so serious that from one year to the next, you might not have the same plot of land to farm on, and therefore farmers are not able to develop the land on which they are farming, because they have no way of knowing whether in the next harvest they will have access to that land.
And as I said, obi ohonoma na ebia wo ha ebia wo onfiri ha ba obenya asase no ha asase yon wankasa ne dia eti se ba se wo tu afiri ha no mo a na se bia wo so dia gigya se ebia minya asase a kamene be ya afuo ti mimi dia mi didi nkomo obi wo se minya asase a mepe ena nipa na tie no bebo mamane e kwa ne wo kan wasa no so ne kresa na yono ane dia ena oton maame
asase no yetimi tobi ebi wo honso a ye like obi de ma wo ye menche na wo ye like nso ade ye to no 1 acre no ebi wa 2500 na onipa ne de amount eti say ye menche na wo je ya udua ne ma na after 6 years time no na afi mache
asase no first no de no omugi na bunu na titimire nu de omba gifiri ahemfo no ho ntimisi ya mitma baji kakraka na me ye ho adwuma me yesa ntimpo afro ba mitimman medie ni bi eno ya bunu basis odo wi na me na chemu sa na ne ye no but ya ye ne sa masisi no asase no bi asa ti upa bunu bi mu ha sisi ya edin munya
ele ole be die wi ase eduro no asase kura ye de ye ku ya adwuma no asa asase ni ho ede se ubia so pese ne ba sua nwoma na ubia so ba ye raba ne krachi asase asa se asase se ye se ye wo sumura impotemu he se sumura ha ye wi se wo so pe asase ayefu a ebe ye din se obenya bi
ai ba ko hara tanan ya tan be ma hasan ye kana wayan suhana ka ngba to abe ko ha ole ko nya biara nti tangban pemma da wo ma na tangban karanan da
timbe yo ma paba man dabba tiza korme timini ya timbe ma so bidar polo so bidar tangban kora da kunya manete anan shile ka yin zani chanta bo ayan ko shele nko paba man dabba za tiza korla yin domi tiza bu kor yin ya wula ai ku gba tangban ma ka pagwa mai ko no ko ayan gba tangban to gba ko gba ko
The northern sector is not like Kumasi where the chiefs own the lands. Here, you can be a chief and you don't own any piece of land. We have the Tendanes, they are land custodians. So when you have those people, you have to contact them. You have to go and contact them, sit down and dialogue with them. They can take something from you, but not so much.
The Faya Pua Tanamada Nam Pokuta, the right toy never no question what is it. A man and none, Tanama Yunkuka, more for them ne pass them, son, not a seripazu. But is it a question? Then I cut a good Babalan to take a bed can a catana quacaramala, then a tananga quacaramala, then a knock about a serity.
Benjirguna, Tabukon Zaha to make up Dome Shab Dirka Kagura, Kashami Dirpura. The Hagumi Punulanya, Shab Kuba and Dirmapura, Kashab Dirka Gura. Then Shani Chamaman in Chamabian.